Also in Washington, President Trump saying he wants to finish Iran first, then regime change in communist Cuba is just a matter of time. That's as the Pentagon says America's bomber force has struck nearly 200 targets deep inside of Iran in the past 72 hours. And War Secretary Pete Hegseth saying the U.S. has got no shortage of munitions. Our Washington correspondent Mari Otu is live at the White House with the story. Hello, Mari.
Hi, Steve. Yeah, and the White House is calling the operation, quote, unstoppable momentum. That's as President Trump is demanding that the Iranian military lay down their arms. He's also urging Iranian diplomats around the world to request asylum. That's as the Pentagon today is touting the successes on day 6 of Operation Epic Fury. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth saying that more than 30 Iranian ships have been completely destroyed and that Iranian retaliation is significantly reduced. Admiral Cooper there saying that ballistic missile attacks are down 90% since day 1 of the operation. Secretary of War Hegseth saying that the regime is hoping that the U.S. cannot sustain this momentum, but calling that a very bad miscalculation on the part of the IRGC. Take a look.
The Navy is gone. 24 ships in 3 days. That's a lot of ships. Their anti-aircraft weapons are gone, so they have no air force. They have no air defense. All of their airplanes are gone. Their communications are gone. Missiles are gone. Launches are gone, about 60% and 64% respectively.
We've got no shortage of munitions. Our stockpiles of defensive and offensive weapons allow us to sustain this campaign as long as we need to. Again, our munition status only increases as our advantage increases. Our capabilities.
President Trump telling Axios that he needs to be personally involved in selecting Iran's next leader, just as he was in Venezuela, and that it must be someone who will bring harmony and peace to the region rather than continue the Ayatollah's policies.
Well, most of the people we had in mind are dead. So, we had some in mind from that group that is dead. And now we have another group. They may be dead also, based on reports. The United States will ensure that whoever leads the country next, Iran will not threaten America or its neighbors, Israel, anybody.
He's also praising Secretary of State Marco Rubio for pressuring communist Cuba, aiming for regime change through economic sanctions, diplomatic isolation, and supporting democratic dissidents.
But what's happening with Cuba is amazing, and we think that we want to finish this one first, but that will be just a question of time before you and a lot of unbelievable people are going to be going back.
This coming as President Trump announces Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin will replace Kristi Noem as Secretary of Homeland Security at the end of March, while appointing her as Special Envoy for the Shield of the Americas, a new security initiative to dismantle cartels in the Western Hemisphere.
We have all kinds of new challenges, and that's why President Trump is undertaking going after the cartels by addressing it from the Western Hemisphere.
The cartels that operate in this hemisphere are the ISIS and the Al-Qaeda of the Western Hemisphere, and should be treated just as brutally and just as ruthlessly as we treat those organizations.
President Trump saying that Noem has, quote, served us well and has had numerous spectacular results, highlighting securing the border. Noem thanking the president for her new appointment while touting DHS accomplishments, including 3 million illegal aliens leaving the U.S. and locating 145,000 children. Meanwhile, the State Department has been working to get Americans out of harm's way who are stuck in the Middle East, the White House pushing back on criticism they failed to warn Americans in advance of the operation.
There was many signs put out by the State Department, and I wish that everyone in this room would report on them. The Secretary of State issued level 4 travel advisories dating back to January for many of these countries in the region.
Steve, they're chartering buses now, and just last night, the first U.S. government-sponsored evacuation flight took off from the region. The State Department today announcing that since the beginning of Operation Epic Fury on February 28th, there have been more than 20,000 repatriations of Americans, adding that they also provided direct assistance to 10,000 of those Americans via their 24/7 help desk. Back to you.
NTD's Mari Otu live at the White House. Thank you, Mari.